Alright, so this next section, 7.2, we're going to look at reading graphs, different types of charts that represent data. So this is continuation with statistics. And so when we do this, there's going to be really four main types of graphs that we're going to look at. First one is a bar graph, and bar graphs are used to emphasize comparative amounts. So if you had I don't know, a whole bunch of different things you were trying to compare, a bar graph helps because you use the length of the bar to represent a number, and so it's easier to sometimes compare lengths when they're next to each other, as opposed to trying to compare the actual just number itself. Okay, so it gives you sort of a visual comparison. A circle graph, or pie chart it is also called, helps to understand percents as part of a whole. And so if you have a whole bunch of things that make up a larger amount or a larger quantity, then you can see how each thing is broken down, how it compares to the total. A line graph is used to indicate tendencies or trends over a period of time, and so you can kind of see a chart of, from one time to another, how your quantity is changing, increasing, decreasing, and the line graph works well for that. And histograms are where you start to categorize your data together into classes or ranges of numbers and then compare them. They're going to look a lot like the bar graphs, but they're going to be arranged in groups of numbers. Okay, so we'll go through an example of each and kind of work through how those graphs work, what they show you, and how to pull information off of them. One thing I do want to mention, though, is that when you're looking at a graph, it does need to be labeled clearly so that we can interpret things off of them. They need to be easy to read, bold colors, big numbers, big words, and have appropriate titles for both the graph itself and for each of the axes, which I'll show you as we go through the examples.